What's up, you guys? It's Mike here, and I wanted to do a video because I finally actually have an update of information, something new happening in my journey in real estate. I know I'm so boring and I never hold to my promises of making more videos. What can I say? But something has actually happened. My tenant is moving out. Okay, it's actually incredibly heart-wrenching and depressing because she's a fantastic tenant. She pays on time. She's almost never home. She's very quiet, her and her kids. I'm baffled. They keep that side cleaner than I keep my side. I don't know how she does it. She's got 2 kids. She's a nice person, no criminal activity. And the more landlord Facebook groups that I join, the more I've found that she really truly is a golden nugget when it comes to tenants, because there hasn't been a single problem, a single repair, a single issue in 9 months. She asked me if she could have a cat, and I said, sure, we'll do a pet deposit fee, paid, done, no problem. Like, that's the only thing that she's ever asked since living here. And I'm losing her because she's getting married, so, you know, lame. Anyways, whatever. I'm just kidding. I'm happy for you. If you watch this one day, Shanda, I'm happy that you're getting married. I'm a little salty that you're not going to live here anymore. That being said, there are some upsides. There are some good things about her moving out, and I want to talk about those. When I bought this duplex back in November of 2018, it came with her as a tenant. This side was totally empty, the side that I'm living in. The people who had lived here before had trashed the place. I think they had to go through an eviction process. The previous owners, I think, said, we're out. We're selling this thing, taking our profits, and we're freaking hitting the road. So I bought it with no appliances and had to do some different stuff to put things in here. But I got it with my tenant already locked in on a year-long lease that ends in July, which is about 30 more days from today. The downside about that was she was rented under market value. Now, not a lot, not too much. She's paying $1,600 a month. That's not honestly that bad. That's pretty close to market value if you're looking in the wintertime or something like that. But since then, I have done nothing but keep track of what 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath duplexes in the Bonnie Lake area rent for. And I'm pleased to say that it is almost impossible to find anything remotely comparable to my property that is renting for less than $1,900 a month. Most properties that are like mine rent for $2,000, $2,200, $2,400 a month. Mine's rented right now at $1,600. The only properties I could find that were that cheap, literally the only things I could find that were 3-bedroom, 1.5 to 2-bathroom of properties were apartments. And not even nice apartments, just normal apartments. Like B and C class apartments, not even A. Now, the property that I have over here is fantastic. There's some things about this, and I'm going to go ahead and explain them really quick, that not only led me to buy the property, but will lead me to be able to increase the rents, bring it up to market value. Number one, I live in a private drive. There's 3 houses in our little cul-de-sac area. Just 3. We're totally surrounded by woods and trees about 60, 70 yards off the main road. So we're totally enclosed, privacy. It's really nice. You can let your kids go play in the front yard and they're not going to run into a street. It would be a 70-yard sprint down our private drive just to get to another road that's also not very busy. On top of that, we live about 1.5 blocks away through the woods from the beautiful lake that everyone wants to be at. And not only just are we that close to the lake, we're actually right next to the public access point, the park, the beautiful Allen York Park here in Bonnie Lake. I have private trails that go from these woods back to that lake. It's literally 1.5 blocks if you walk it, or maybe 100 yards if you just walk the little trail. Maybe less than that, honestly. It might even be like 60 yards. So we have a really desirable location. On top of that, we're in a fantastic school district. This is where people want to be for their kids. It's known for being a more upper middle class school district with good funding and good teachers. We have a yard to offer, 3 parking spaces to offer. If you live in an apartment, you're going to get 1 spot, and then they're going to charge you $50 to $75 every additional spot. Now, obviously, the market will be what determines the final value of this property. I can't say for sure that I'll be able to rent that side out for $1,900 or $1,950 or $2,000. I can speculate. I can guess, I can try to keep track with market trends, but ultimately it's only as valuable as someone is willing to pay me for it, right? The amount of money that I can get each month is only what someone's going to pay. And what I want to try to do is actually advertise at a little bit less than market value. So if market value is $2,000 a month, I want to be in that $1,900 range because I want more tenants to apply so I get a better chance to a pick from the cream of the crop, essentially. I would love to have 100 applicants. You know, like Grant Cardone says, get yourself more problems, get yourself bigger problems. Don't worry about making a mortgage payment. Worry about having so many tenants fighting over who's going to pay 80% of your mortgage. That's what you want to worry about. So I'm hoping that I get a bunch of applicants. The other nice thing is it's going to come open July 31st. It's the middle of summer. That's when people want to move because they're on school break. People haven't started the new school year yet. The new school year won't start till September. So it's a whole extra month in there for me to get a nice little family moved in, looking to move into a beautiful school district to enjoy the last month and a half of summer next to the beautiful lake. Fantastic. Awesome for me. I'm very lucky. So I'm going to advertise at $19 or $19.50 a month. And then we'll see if I have a bunch of takers. And maybe I get somebody rented in there and I only had 5 takers or 5 applicants. Who knows? But ultimately, I'm going to have certain requirements for the new tenant. Another one of the nice benefits about being able to lease this out myself is that I will do the leasing paperwork. So before, I didn't sit down with my previous tenant and go over line by line every single thing of the lease because she was already in here when I got here. So it's felt a little awkward for me to, talk to her about the lease. And luckily, we've had no problems. I really haven't had to, except for when she asked me about bringing a cat into the house. I was like, well, let's see what the lease says. But now I will get the opportunity to sit down and go line by line, precept upon precept, like it's from the Bible, and put it there for them. We talked about this. We talked about that. We've talked about all these different things. If you have a question, I know without a shadow of a doubt that you have been educated and signed your name to a specific agreement, and there is no confusion that can be had from it. The other thing that I think I'm going to really enjoy, obviously, I like to video document stuff. That's why I'm making a video right now. But I'll probably do a walkthrough with them on video because pictures, I don't really feel like they do it. I think things are blurry, things don't look right. Where's the picture coming from? Just walking through and signing, oh yeah, the door looks good here. And there's, I care very much about the tenant not being taken advantage of. As a tenant most of my life, well, the floor was scraped up. And then you move out and they say, well, the floor was scraped up. And you go, well, it was already scratched and scraped up. And, well, you didn't document it specifically enough. Yeah, you just want to keep my deposit, which there's landlords out there who really want to keep people's deposits. I get it. It's like free money. I have a problem with it personally, morally, because you didn't earn that money. They gave it to you in good faith that if they damaged your property, they would get that money back. You should not be looking at that as like just a free $1,500 check. That's not what it is. So I hope I can give the entire deposit back to my tenant. The only thing I'm going to put on there is obviously we got to pay professionally to get the carpets cleaned, which was in her existing lease. If she pays to get them professionally cleaned herself and shows me the receipt, says it was cleaned on what date and time, I'll give her the whole thing back, provided there's no major damages. Now maybe you're saying, oh, this is naive and you're not going to give him that stuff back or it's a waste of money. Hey, maybe you're right. But ultimately, I would rather sleep well at night knowing that I'm trying to get this person back all of their money, provided that they were a good tenant and held up their end of the bargain. I want them to get the entire thing back. I don't want to keep their money. Now, I know what you're thinking. Don't worry. You will get more videos from me on this topic. I will make sure that I specifically outline what websites and advertising services that I used to advertise my unit to figure out how I'm going to get new tenants. I'm planning on putting Craigslist and a few other websites, but I'll go ahead and make detailed videos about that. I will explain in depth how I screened the tenants, what my criteria was. I've read through enough landlord Facebook group pages that you should have written or documented your criteria so you can't have someone come at you with discrimination. No, this is what I need to have a tenant live in my properties. And here is where this person did not meet my criteria. This is a criteria that I've had before I met them and I maintain to this day after I met them. And that way you can protect yourself legally from someone coming after you and saying you discriminated against them. So I'll go ahead and outline that criteria. I'll go ahead and outline the company that I used to do the background checks and the screening process and the credit checks. I'll go ahead and talk about what questions I asked when I interviewed them and how the showings went and everything like that. So all of these things are coming. Obviously, I have to wait till the unit's vacant before I go ahead and show it. But don't worry, we will document this. I'm excited that this is happening because it's giving me the opportunity to learn more about being a real estate investor or a landlord, especially as I look towards moving into buying another property. Guys, I really appreciate you watching this video. If you have any questions below, or better, if you have any comments or advice for me, I'd love to hear it. You know, hey, avoid this when you sign on with a new tenant. Make sure you remember to talk about this when you have a new tenant come in. And be careful of somebody who says this, because they may be a dishonest person. You know, advice, comments, concerns for me, fantastic. I'll take them. And then, as always, I'm going to continue to document this process because I want you, the normal, average, everyday citizen, everyday person who, like me, probably grew up poor without a lot, and you're on YouTube looking for advice and looking for a system that you can employ to pull yourself out of the lower middle class or the lower class or poverty, like me, like how I grew up, because you want to be successful and do something with your life. And we're lucky that to this day, at least, we still live in a capitalistic society that allows us to start a business and make money and put our minds and our bodies and our talents to work to actually be productive and be successful. So please watch these videos and learn something from it. And if you watch these videos and you have something to share, tell me. And as always, the most important thing that you can possibly do is never like or subscribe to this channel, because all you do is incentivize bad behavior. And in a capitalistic society, incentive is a lot. So don't give me the wrong signal and be appreciative in any way. It's just not a good idea. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.